The moment her phone dropped, shattering on the marble floor, Vanessa's entire body froze. There he was. Marcus, her billionaire fiancé, the man she had almost left her career for, sitting upright in his wheelchair. Standing. Actually, his legs moved. Perfectly. For a split second, her brain refused to process what her eyes were seeing. The man she had spent the last 3 months nursing, the man she had helped bathe, feed, and dress like a helpless child, was walking. Her lips trembled. "Marcus," she whispered, voice cracking. You can walk?" Marcus turned, his expression unreadable. "Vanessa," he said calmly, as though nothing unusual had happened. "Sit down." "Sit down?" she repeated, her voice rising. "You told me your spine was shattered, that you'd never walk again. What is this?" Marcus exhaled deeply and ran a hand over his face. "It was a test," he finally said. "A test to see if you love me for me, not for what I could give you." Vanessa blinked, tears filling her eyes. "A test?" Her voice cracked into a bitter laugh. "You made me quit my job to take care of you. You made me sleep on that couch beside your bed. You made me clean your vomit, cook, and pray for you like a fool. All for a test?" The room grew thick with silence. Only the ticking of the antique clock filled the air. Marcus didn't flinch. "If I hadn't done it," he said coldly, "I'd never have known the truth. You failed the test, Vanessa. You were already planning to leave me." Vanessa's chest rose and fell. "I was tired, Marcus. Tired of being treated like a nurse, not a fiancé. You lied to me for months. You played God with my emotions." Before Marcus could respond, a voice interrupted from the doorway, soft but trembling. "Sir, maybe you should stop now." They both turned. It was Clara, the maid, young, quiet, barely 22, with downcast eyes and a tray of tea shaking in her hands. "Stay out of this," Marcus snapped. But Clara didn't move. Her voice was barely above a whisper. She doesn't know the full truth, sir." Vanessa frowned. "What are you talking about?" Marcus glared at Clara, his tone sharp. "Enough. Go back to the kitchen." But Clara stood her ground, tears gathering in her eyes. "No, sir. You can't keep lying anymore. Not after what I found." Vanessa's heartbeat pounded in her ears. "Found what?" The maid hesitated, looking at Marcus with fear. "The truth about why you really faked your paralysis. It wasn't just a test." Marcus's eyes widened, panic flashing briefly before he composed himself. "Clara, not another word." But Vanessa was already stepping closer. "Say it, Clara. What truth?" The young maid looked from one to the other, her trembling lips finally opening. "Because, madam," she whispered, "someone tried to kill him, and he thinks it was you." The words sliced through the air like a blade. Vanessa's knees nearly gave way. "What?" Marcus's face hardened. "That's enough, Clara," he barked. But it was too late. The damage was done. Vanessa turned to Marcus, trembling with disbelief. You think I tried to kill you?" His silence was louder than any answer. Her tears fell freely now, one after another, landing on the cold marble floor. "So that's what all this was about?" she whispered hoarsely. "You didn't fake your paralysis to test my love. You faked it because you thought I wanted you dead." Marcus's jaw clenched. "Someone tampered with my car brakes. The police said it was no accident." Vanessa shook her head violently. "You think I would do that to you? After everything?" The silence between them was deafening. Then Clara spoke again, her voice trembling but firm. "Sir, maybe now is the time to tell her what you told me about the night before the crash." Marcus's eyes turned cold. "Get out." But Vanessa stepped forward, glaring at him through her tears. "What did you tell her, Marcus?" He didn't answer. Instead, he looked away. And in that moment, Vanessa saw something flicker in his expression. Fear. Clara slowly lowered her eyes. "He said he saw someone near the garage that night." "Someone in your dress," Vanessa gasped. "That's impossible. My dress was at the dry cleaners." Clara's gaze darted to Marcus. Then maybe he was wrong, madam, because the person who tampered with the car wasn't you. Marcus turned sharply. Clara! The young maid took a step back, clutching her tray tightly. I know the truth now, sir. I know who it was. And if you don't tell her, I will. Marcus's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. You don't understand what you're doing. I do, Clara replied, her tone trembling but resolute. You're blaming the wrong person, and it's time you faced it. Vanessa stared between them, her heart thundering. What are you both hiding? Clara's lips quivered as she met her gaze. Madam, the person who tried to kill him. Crash. The tray of tea shattered across the floor as Marcus slammed his fist on the table. Enough, he roared. Not another word. The sudden burst of fury made Vanessa step back. Clara froze, eyes wide with fear. The room trembled under Marcus's rage. Then, silence. Marcus straightened, breathing heavily, his face pale with realization that he'd lost control. Vanessa whispered, voice shaking, If you think you can silence her, you're wrong. Marcus didn't reply, but the look in his eyes said everything. There were secrets buried deep, and he would do anything to keep them there. Vanessa turned to Clara. We'll talk later, she said quietly. Clara nodded, tears falling down her cheeks. As Vanessa walked out, Marcus watched her go, jaw tight, mind racing. He knew what Clara was threatening to expose. And if she spoke, everything he'd built would come crashing down. But Clara, too, had her own secret, one that could destroy both of them. And it all began the night Marcus faked his paralysis. What do you think Clara knows? And who do you think really tried to kill Marcus? Comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping African folktales like this. Vanessa couldn't sleep that night. The echoes of Marcus's accusations replayed endlessly in her mind. You think I'd try to kill you, she had shouted, but his silence had been the answer. Now, alone in her guest room of the mansion, she sat by the window staring at the moonlit gardens. Her heart ached, not just from betrayal, but from the terrifying thought that someone close to Marcus actually wanted him dead, and that he believed it was her. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. It was Clara, standing timidly in her nightgown, eyes red from crying. Come in, Vanessa said softly. The young maid stepped in, clutching a small brown envelope. Madam, I shouldn't be here, but I have to show you something. Vanessa frowned. What is it? Clara looked around nervously before shutting the door. Promise me you won't tell Mr. Marcus I came to you. He'll fire me. Or worse. You have my word, Vanessa said, her voice trembling slightly. Clara handed her the envelope. Inside were photos, blurry, taken from a security camera. They showed Marcus's car in the garage the night of the accident, and a shadowy figure bending near the wheels. Vanessa squinted. Who is that? Clara whispered. That's what I've been trying to tell you. It wasn't you, madam. It was his cousin, Samuel. Vanessa gasped. Samuel? But he lives abroad. Clara shook her head. He came back that week. Mr. Marcus didn't know at first. I saw him sneaking into the garage late that night. I thought it was nothing until the next morning when we heard about the crash. Vanessa's pulse quickened. Why didn't you say anything sooner? Clara lowered her eyes. Because Mr. Marcus made me swear not to tell anyone. He said if I spoke, I'd lose everything. He told me Samuel was helping him with something secret. Something about testing your loyalty. But I knew that wasn't true. I saw Samuel arguing with him 2 nights before the accident. Vanessa sank into the chair, clutching her head. Oh God, so all this time, he's been accusing me while protecting the real person behind it. Clara nodded slowly. Yes, madam, but there's more. Vanessa looked up. More? Clara hesitated, voice trembling. Samuel wasn't just jealous of you. He was jealous of Mr. Marcus. Of everything. The money, the company, even... She stopped, biting her lip. Even what? Vanessa demanded. Even you, Clara whispered. He wanted you for himself. He told me one night that if Marcus ever got out of the way, he'd make you his wife. Vanessa's stomach turned. That's sick. Clara's voice cracked. When I refused to help him, He threatened me, too. He said if I told anyone, I'd disappear like the others. Vanessa's eyes widened. The others? What do you mean? But before Clara could answer, the doorknob twisted. They both froze. Marcus's voice came from the hallway. Low, calm, but chillingly firm. Vanessa, open the door. Clara's hand flew to her mouth in panic. Vanessa quickly hid the envelope under her pillow and stood up. Marcus, it's late, she said cautiously. What do you want? I need to talk, he said. Now. Vanessa opened the door slightly. Marcus stood there, no longer pretending to be paralyzed, wearing a silk robe and holding a glass of whiskey. His eyes were cold, searching. He glanced behind her. What's the maid doing here? She brought me tea, Vanessa said quickly. Marcus's gaze lingered on Clara for a moment before turning back to Vanessa. Good. You two seem to talk a lot these days. Be careful who you trust. Funny, Vanessa replied bitterly. I was about to say the same to you. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Whatever Clara told you, don't believe it. She's trying to destroy me. Clara flinched but didn't respond. Marcus's tone softened suddenly, almost sorrowful. Vanessa, I only wanted to know if you'd stand by me when things got hard. I didn't mean to hurt you, but there are things you don't understand. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Then make me understand. He hesitated, swirling the whiskey in his glass. Someone's been blackmailing me, for months, threatening to expose something from my past. Clara's head shot up. Sir? Marcus cut her off sharply. Not a word, Clara. Vanessa stared. What past? He gave a weary smile. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Vanessa crossed her arms. Try me. Marcus sighed and looked out the window. Before you came into my life, I did business with dangerous people. Samuel was part of that world. When I tried to leave, he swore I'd regret it. The crash, the faked paralysis, everything. It's all tangled in that mess. I wasn't just testing you. I was trying to stay alive. Vanessa shook her head. So instead of trusting me, you lied? You humiliated me just to hide your secrets? Marcus looked pained. I was protecting you, Clara whispered under her breath. No, sir. You were protecting yourself. He turned on her, anger flashing. Enough, Clara. You forget your place. Vanessa stepped between them. No, Marcus. She's right. You've built your life on lies, and now it's falling apart. You need to tell me the truth. All of it. Marcus stared at her, breathing heavily. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he put down his glass. Fine, he said finally. Tomorrow morning, meet me in the study. I'll tell you everything. He turned and walked out, leaving the air thick with tension. When he was gone, Clara whispered, Don't meet him alone, madam. Please. Vanessa frowned. Why not? Clara swallowed hard. Because I heard Samuel's coming back tomorrow. And if what I suspect is true, Marcus might not live to tell his story. Vanessa's blood ran cold. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, as if warning them both of what was to come. What would you have done in Vanessa's place? Would you confront Marcus alone or expose him publicly? Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and share your thoughts below. The next morning, the mansion felt unnaturally silent. The storm from the night before had washed the city clean, but the air was still thick with tension. Vanessa woke up early, her mind clouded with unease. Clara's warning replayed in her head like a broken record. Don't meet him alone. Still, she knew she couldn't run forever. Marcus had promised to tell her everything, and she needed the truth, even if it hurt. She dressed carefully in a cream blouse and dark trousers, her movements deliberate. She wanted to look calm, collected, impossible to intimidate. Then she tucked the envelope of photos into her bag and headed downstairs. Marcus's study door was already open. He stood by the tall window, sunlight glinting off the glass of whiskey in his hand. The man looked every bit the billionaire again, confident, composed, but haunted. You came, he said quietly without turning. Vanessa stepped inside. You said you'd tell me the truth. He nodded, gesturing to the chair across from his desk. Sit. She did. The clock ticked. The silence stretched. Finally, Marcus spoke. Everything started 5 years ago before I met you. I invested in a company run by my cousin Samuel. It was supposed to be clean money, legitimate trade, but it wasn't. It was a front for laundering cartel funds. Vanessa's breath caught. What? Marcus nodded grimly. I didn't know at first, but when I found out, I pulled out. I reported it anonymously. That's when the threats began. Cars following me, strange calls. And then the accident. He paused, eyes distant. Samuel was behind it all. He wanted me out of the way so he could take full control of my business empire. The fake paralysis was my way to disappear in plain sight, to make them think I was helpless. But when you started asking questions, I panicked. I thought you might be working with him. Vanessa clenched her fists. So you chose to destroy my trust instead of asking for help? Marcus sighed. I didn't want you caught in it. Her eyes burned. Too late for that. He looked at her then, genuinely remorseful, eyes glistening. I know, I was wrong. I'm sorry, Vanessa. But if Samuel really is back, none of us are safe. Before she could respond, a voice echoed from the doorway. Well, cousin, it's nice to know I still make the headlines in your little confession stories. Vanessa turned sharply. Samuel stood there, dressed in a tailored gray suit, smiling like a wolf. His presence filled the room with menace. Samuel, Marcus muttered, rising to his feet, you shouldn't be here. Oh, I think I should, Samuel said smoothly, stepping forward. After all, I own half this mansion, don't I? Legally speaking. Vanessa's pulse quickened. What do you want? Samuel's eyes glinted. Answers, and maybe a little justice. Marcus glared. You mean revenge? Samuel chuckled. Call it what you like. You see, cousin, you ruined me when you snitched to the police. I lost everything. And then you hid like a coward, pretending to be paralyzed. Clever, really. But I've waited long enough. Vanessa stepped forward. So it was you who tampered with his car? Samuel smiled coldly. A pity the brakes didn't finish the job. Marcus lunged forward, but Samuel raised a gun. Sleek, black, silent. Vanessa gasped. Samuel, put that down. Relax, Samuel said, smirking. I'm not here to kill him. Yet. I just want the truth out. In front of both of you. He pulled a small recorder from his pocket and pressed play. A familiar voice, Clara's, filled the room. I'll help you. Samuel, but you have to promise you won't hurt him. Vanessa froze. That's Clara's voice. Marcus's jaw tightened. You were working with her? Samuel smirked. She came to me first. Your sweet little maid isn't as innocent as you think. She's been playing both sides, feeding me information about your fake paralysis, your plans, everything. She even helped me sneak into the garage the night before the accident. That's a lie, Clara's voice shouted suddenly from the hallway. They turned to see her standing at the door, eyes wide with panic and tears streaming down her face. Don't believe him, she cried. He's twisting everything. Samuel grinned. Oh, Clara, always the actress. You think I don't have proof? You begged me to spare Marcus. You even met me that night, remember? Clara shook her head violently. I met you to stop you. I tried to warn Marcus, but he didn't believe me. Marcus's gaze darkened, torn between fury and confusion. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Because you were lying too, Clara shouted through her tears. I didn't know who to trust anymore. The tension was unbearable. Vanessa stepped between them. Everyone stop. We can't keep hiding behind lies. Not anymore. Samuel sneered. Lies? You want the truth? Fine. Ask your fiancé who I caught in his room the night before the crash. Vanessa blinked. What? Samuel looked directly at her. Ask him who he was with, Vanessa, because it wasn't you. Marcus's face went pale. Clara covered her mouth, trembling. Don't! Vanessa turned slowly toward her fiancé, her heart shattering. Marcus, what is he talking about? Marcus's voice faltered. Vanessa, Samuel's smirk deepened. He was with her, Vanessa, your dear maid, the one you trust so much. The room went dead silent. Vanessa's body went rigid. That's not true. Marcus looked away, ashamed. It was one mistake. It meant nothing. Clara burst into tears. I swear, madam, I didn't mean for it to happen. He said he loved you but needed comfort, and I was foolish enough to believe him. Vanessa's world spun. Betrayal, lies, secrets, all from the two people she thought she could trust. Samuel laughed softly. Ah, finally, the truth hurts, doesn't it? Marcus glared at him. You've said enough. But Samuel shook his head. Not yet, because now, dear cousin, you're going to give me what's mine. Or Vanessa here learns that your little accident was no accident at all. Vanessa stared at him, trembling. What do you mean? Samuel smiled wickedly. Let's just say your fiancé wasn't entirely innocent in his own crash. Marcus's eyes widened in horror. Samuel, don't. Samuel's grin turned cruel. Oh, I will, because she deserves to know what kind of man she's about to marry, Vanessa whispered, voice breaking. Marcus, what did you do? He didn't answer, only closed his eyes as if bracing for the storm to come. And in that suffocating silence, one truth became painfully clear. Everyone in that mansion was hiding something. And before it was over, one of them wouldn't make it out alive. If you were Vanessa, would you believe Marcus or Clara? Let me know what you think in the comments. Your opinion matters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping African folktales like this. The air in the study turned electric. Thick, heavy, charged with betrayal. Vanessa couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The world around her blurred as Marcus and Clara stood frozen, guilt and fear etched across their faces, while Samuel grinned like the devil who'd finally won. Vanessa's voice broke the silence, trembling yet sharp as glass. Tell me he's lying, Marcus. Tell me you didn't fake your paralysis and cheat on me. Marcus stepped forward, hands raised as if to calm her. Vanessa, it wasn't like that. Then how was it? She snapped, tears burning her cheeks. You faked a disability to test me. You accused me of trying to kill you, and now you admit to sleeping with the maid? Who are you? Marcus exhaled shakily. It was one night. I was broken, confused, drowning in guilt and fear. Clara was there. I thought I was dying and... Save it, Vanessa cut in, voice sharp. You weren't dying. You were acting. Samuel chuckled darkly. Oh, this is better than I imagined. The perfect billionaire fiancé exposed. Tell me, cousin, did you plan to test her loyalty before or after you betrayed her in your own bed? Marcus's jaw clenched. You've said enough, Samuel. Oh, I'm only getting started, Samuel sneered, because Vanessa deserves to know what you really did after the crash. Vanessa turned sharply to Marcus. He said you weren't entirely innocent. What does that mean? Marcus looked at the floor. Silence. Samuel smirked. Go on, tell her, or I will. Stop, Clara cried, stepping forward, tears streaking down her face. Don't listen to him, madam. Please. Tell me. Marcus, Vanessa demanded, voice rising. Marcus's hands trembled. Fine, he roared suddenly, slamming his hand on the desk. Yes, I faked the paralysis. Not just to test you, but to protect myself. But the night of the accident, it wasn't Samuel who cut my brakes. The room went still. Vanessa frowned. Then who did? Marcus swallowed hard. I did. I tampered with my own car. The confession hit like thunder. Clara gasped. Samuel froze mid-smirk. Vanessa's lips parted, barely able to speak. You tried to kill yourself? Marcus's voice cracked. It wasn't supposed to kill me. I just wanted to disappear. The threats, the guilt, the business scandals. It was too much. I wanted them all to think I was gone. But something went wrong. The car spun out. I woke up in the hospital and realized fate had given me an opportunity, a way to find out who truly cared. That's why I kept the lie alive. Vanessa's knees weakened. You almost died just to manipulate people? To manipulate me? Marcus's eyes glistened. I didn't plan it like that. But after I saw how everyone treated me, the pity, the greed, I realized the only genuine person left might be you. Samuel scoffed. And yet she wasn't enough to stop you from crawling into the maid's bed, was she? Marcus turned, furious. You know nothing about loyalty, Samuel. You've been stealing from me for years. Samuel's smirk faltered. Careful what you say. Vanessa looked between them, confusion deepening. What do you mean? Marcus's tone hardened. Samuel's been siphoning money from my company accounts. That's why he wanted me dead, to cover his tracks. Samuel laughed bitterly. Proof? Marcus reached into his desk drawer and tossed a folder onto the table. Bank transfers, offshore accounts. Clara helped me find them. Vanessa's head snapped toward Clara. You helped him? After everything? Clara's voice shook. I didn't want to, madam, but Samuel threatened me. I thought helping Mr. Marcus gather evidence would make things right again. Samuel's smile disappeared. You both think you can frame me? He reached into his jacket, and this time Vanessa saw the glint of cold metal. Samuel, don't, Marcus shouted, but Samuel pointed the gun straight at him. No more lies, cousin. You ruined my life, and now I'll ruin yours. Clara screamed. Vanessa stepped back, heart hammering. Put the gun down, Marcus said slowly. This isn't the way. Shut up, Samuel barked, eyes wild. You want to see the truth? The truth is, I should have finished you that night. Then out of nowhere, Clara lunged. She threw herself between them, knocking Samuel's arm upward as the gun went off. The sound exploded through the room, echoing like a clap of doom. Marcus ducked. Vanessa screamed. The bullet shattered a chandelier. In the chaos, Samuel shoved Clara aside and ran toward the door. Marcus chased after him. Vanessa followed instinctively, her pulse pounding. The chase tore through the hallway, footsteps thunderous on marble floors. Samuel reached the front doors, but Clara, limping and bleeding from a cut on her arm, slammed them shut from behind. You're not leaving, she cried. Samuel swung the gun toward her again, but this time Marcus tackled him. The weapon clattered across the floor. The two men struggled violently, grunting, fists flying, until Samuel's head hit the marble edge of a table with a sickening thud. He went still. Marcus froze, breathing hard, staring at his unconscious cousin. Vanessa stood there, shaking uncontrollably. Marcus, what have you done? He turned slowly toward her. I didn't mean to. But before he could finish, Clara's voice interrupted, weak but urgent. Madam, call the police, please. Vanessa grabbed her phone with trembling hands. Marcus looked at her desperately. Vanessa, wait. Don't. If you call them, they'll take everything from me. The company, my name, my freedom. She hesitated, torn between rage and pity. Please, Marcus whispered, stepping closer. I can fix this. I can fix everything. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. You already broke everything. Sirens began wailing in the distance. Someone else had heard the gunshot. Clara leaned weakly against the wall. It's over, she said softly. The truth's out now. But even as the sirens drew closer, Vanessa felt a chill deep in her bones. Something about the scene didn't add up. Marcus's hands, they weren't shaking. His breathing wasn't panicked. His eyes, calm, calculating, almost relieved. And when she looked at Samuel's unconscious body, something inside her whispered that this wasn't over. Not yet, because Marcus's final words before the police arrived sent a shiver down her spine. Clara, my dear, you really shouldn't have tried to outsmart me. If you were Vanessa, would you trust Marcus or believe the maid? What do you think Marcus meant by that last line? Comment your thoughts below and tell us what you'd do. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping African tales like this. The mansion had never felt so cold. Blue and red police lights flickered across the marble walls as officers filled the grand hallway, their radios crackling. Samuel was wheeled out on a stretcher, alive, barely conscious, blood matting his hair. Vanessa stood in the corner, clutching her arms, her entire body trembling. The events of the last hour refused to settle. Marcus, calm and eerily composed, stood beside a detective, giving his version of what happened. He attacked me, Marcus said smoothly, his voice steady. If Clara hadn't stepped in, he would have killed all of us. I fought back in self-defense. The detective nodded, jotting down notes. But Vanessa could see through the act. Every word from his mouth was perfectly measured, rehearsed even. When the detective turned away, Marcus's eyes briefly met hers. His expression was unreadable, not regretful, not afraid, just controlled. Clara sat nearby, her arm bandaged, face pale. Vanessa approached her quietly. "How bad is it?" she asked softly. "I'll be fine," Clara whispered. "But madam, please be careful. I don't think Mr. Marcus told them everything." Vanessa frowned. "What do you mean?" Clara's eyes darted toward Marcus. "He made sure the security footage from last night disappeared. I checked the system before the police came. The hard drives wiped clean." Vanessa's heart sank. "He's covering his tracks." Clara nodded slowly. "And the worst part? He smiled when they took Samuel away." "Smiled?" "Yes. Like it was all part of his plan." Vanessa's stomach twisted. She thought back to his last words before the police arrived. "You really shouldn't have tried to outsmart me." It had sounded like a threat. Moments later, Marcus walked over, his composure unbroken. "Detectives want both of your statements. Don't worry. I've told them everything they need to know." Vanessa folded her arms. "Everything?" He nodded. "Including your innocence." She stared at him suspiciously. "Why would you defend me now, after accusing me of trying to kill you?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Because, Vanessa, I realized you were the only one who didn't betray me." Clara's lips parted. "That's not true." Marcus cut her off sharply. "Clara, I think you've done enough for one night." His tone made Vanessa's skin crawl. The maid looked down, trembling. When the police finally left, the house fell quiet again. Samuel was in custody at the hospital. The officers promised to return in the morning for follow-up statements. But Vanessa couldn't rest. Something in Marcus's calm demeanor terrified her. Later that night, she wandered downstairs for water and paused near the study. The door was slightly ajar, and Marcus's voice drifted through. "Make sure the documents are destroyed by dawn," he said coldly into his phone. "No one can trace that transfer?" "Yes, even if Samuel talks. He won't remember much anyway." Vanessa froze. Her pulse spiked. Destroyed documents? Hidden transfers? She backed away slowly, but the floor creaked under her heel. Marcus stopped speaking. "Who's there?" Vanessa slipped behind the wall, holding her breath. His footsteps approached the door. Slow and deliberate. For a moment, she thought he'd step out. But then the door shut. Her heart pounded as she ran quietly back upstairs. Clara was waiting near the staircase, pale and anxious. "He knows," Clara whispered. "I saw him looking for the envelope earlier, the one I gave you with the photos." Vanessa pulled it from her bag. "It's still here." Clara shook her head. "Keep it safe. That's the only proof left that he was lying, that he staged everything. If he finds it, we're both in danger." Vanessa took a deep breath. "Tomorrow we're going to the police, with this." But Clara hesitated. "There's something you don't know." "What?" Clara's eyes welled up. "The photos aren't the only evidence. There's a recording. I kept it hidden. It's from the night before the accident. It proves Marcus wasn't alone in the garage." Vanessa frowned. "Who was with him?" Clara looked down. "A woman." Vanessa's chest tightened. "You mean you?" Clara shook her head slowly. "No, madam, someone else. Older. I didn't recognize her face fully, but she wore a gold bracelet, the same one I've seen in Marcus's drawer, the one with initials engraved inside." "What initials?" Clara's voice trembled. "M.O." Vanessa froze. Her own initials. "That's impossible," she whispered. "I wasn't there." Clara nodded frantically. "I know, madam. That's why it scared me. Someone was pretending to be you." A cold shiver ran down Vanessa's spine. "So Marcus saw that too, and thought it was me?" Clara nodded. "Yes, but whoever it was, she wanted him dead, and she might still be out there." The lights flickered suddenly. Both women turned toward the window. The rain had started again, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Then faintly, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Vanessa's breath hitched. "Did you hear that?" Clara nodded, her face pale. "He's awake." They moved toward the bedroom door quietly, but before Vanessa could lock it, Marcus's voice came from the darkness beyond the hallway. Calm, cold. "You shouldn't have gone through my desk, Vanessa." She froze. He stepped into the light, barefoot, still in his robe, eyes glinting like steel. "You were eavesdropping earlier, weren't you?" Vanessa's voice shook. You're hiding something. Marcus smiled faintly. We're all hiding something? Clara stepped in front of Vanessa protectively. Leave her alone, sir. Marcus's expression hardened. You've caused enough trouble, Clara. If you just kept quiet, none of this would have happened. Vanessa's anger boiled over. She's the only reason you're still alive. Marcus's jaw clenched. Alive? Yes, but trapped. You've both made that mistake, thinking you can expose me without consequences. The way he said it sent a chill down Vanessa's spine. Then he leaned slightly closer, his voice low and deliberate. I think it's time you both learned that not every villain looks like one. Before Vanessa could respond, the hallway lights went out completely. Darkness swallowed everything. Clara screamed. And then, a gunshot shattered the night. Who fired the shot? Marcus, Clara, or someone else entirely? What do you think happened in that dark hallway? Comment your theories below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling African folktales like this. The gunshot ripped through the silence, followed by a scream that echoed down the long marble corridor. Then silence again. Thick, suffocating, terrifying silence. Vanessa's ears rang. Her heart pounded so hard she could barely breathe. The smell of gunpowder hung in the air. Clara, she whispered hoarsely, reaching out in the darkness. Clara, where are you? No answer. Her trembling fingers brushed against something warm on the floor. She froze, then realized it was a hand. Small, cold, still. Clara, she gasped. Lightning flashed through the windows, illuminating the scene for a split second, and what Vanessa saw made her blood run cold. Clara lay on the floor, motionless, a crimson stain spreading across her white nightgown. Vanessa screamed, Marcus! What did you do? Marcus stood at the far end of the hallway, gun still in hand, his face ghostly pale. It was an accident, he whispered. I swear it was an accident. You killed her! Vanessa cried, rushing toward Clara's body. Marcus shook his head wildly, lowering the weapon. She jumped in front of you. I wasn't aiming for her. I wanted to scare you into giving me the envelope, not kill her. Vanessa's voice trembled with fury. You've gone insane, Marcus. He ran his hand through his hair, breathing heavily. You don't understand. She betrayed me. She was working with Samuel all along. I saw the texts. She was feeding him everything. Vanessa stared at him in disbelief. You're still lying. Clara saved your life. Marcus's voice rose, hysterical now. No, she was using both of us. You think she was innocent, but she wasn't. None of you were. Vanessa backed away, clutching Clara's lifeless hand. You've lost your mind. Marcus's expression shifted, anger fading into something darker. Maybe I have. Maybe that's what it takes to survive when everyone you love betrays you. He took a slow step forward, the gun still dangling from his hand. You wanted the truth, Vanessa. Well, here it is. Nothing about me was ever an accident. Her breath caught. What? What do you mean? Marcus smiled faintly. I didn't fake my paralysis just to test you. I did it to watch all of you play your parts. I wanted to see who'd be loyal when they thought I couldn't fight back. You, Clara, Samuel. You all revealed yourselves. And now the game's over. Vanessa's tears streamed freely. You're a monster. Marcus tilted his head. No, I'm a survivor. I built an empire by understanding one thing. Love makes people weak. Fear makes them honest. He pointed the gun at her. Vanessa's body froze, every muscle tense. Marcus, she whispered, her voice trembling. You don't want to do this. Oh, but I do, he said softly. Because you weren't supposed to find that recording. You weren't supposed to know that someone else wore your bracelet. That was supposed to stay buried. Vanessa's heart pounded. Who was she, Marcus? Who wore it? Marcus hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in his eyes. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. He swallowed hard. It was my mother. Vanessa's eyes widened. Your mother? Marcus nodded slowly. She was there that night. She tampered with the car. She wanted me dead, to inherit control of the company before I exposed her illegal deals. I found out too late, And when the crash didn't kill me, she disappeared. But the bracelet, she left it behind. A warning. Vanessa felt her knees weaken. And you let everyone else suffer for her sins? I had to protect what was left of the company, of my name. If anyone knew the truth, everything would crumble. Vanessa shook her head, horrified. So you blame me? You let me think I'd lost you. You let Clara die, all to protect a murderer? Marcus's voice softened. She's still my mother. Vanessa's face twisted with disbelief. You're protecting the devil who tried to kill you? He stepped closer, lowering the gun slightly. You don't know what it's like to lose everything. I couldn't survive another betrayal. And you, his eyes darkened. You were getting too close to the truth. She took a trembling step back. Marcus, please. Give me the envelope, he whispered, and I'll let you go. Vanessa stared at him, and then her expression changed. Calm, cold. No, she said quietly. You're not walking away from this. She reached into her pocket, and to Marcus's shock, pulled out her phone. The screen glowed, showing a recording app running. I recorded everything, she said. Every word you just said. Marcus's face drained of color. I told the police we'd talk again if anything happened, Vanessa continued, voice steady now. They're tracking this call. By the time you finish that sentence, they'll be here. Marcus's eyes darted toward the window. In the distance, faint sirens began to rise again. For the first time, fear flickered in his face. Vanessa! She took another step back, gripping the phone tightly. It's over, Marcus. For Clara. For everyone you destroyed. Marcus looked down at the gun, then back at her, torn between surrender and desperation. Then with a broken sigh, he whispered, You shouldn't have underestimated me. He raised the gun, but before he could pull the trigger, the front doors burst open. Police stormed in, shouting commands. Drop the weapon! Hands where we can see them! Marcus froze, his eyes locked on Vanessa's. For a long, heavy moment, neither moved. Then slowly he dropped the gun. Officers rushed forward, pinning him to the floor as Vanessa stood trembling, clutching Clara's body. As they dragged Marcus away, he looked up one last time, his face eerily calm. You think it's over? Vanessa, he said quietly, but my mother's still out there, and she'll come for you next. Vanessa's blood ran cold. The police carried him out, the sirens fading into the night, and there, in the silence of the grand mansion, Vanessa whispered through her tears, Then I'll be ready. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in days, the storm outside began to fade. Do you think Marcus's mother was truly behind it all, or is there still more to uncover? Comment your theories below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who loves suspenseful African dramas. Morning came with an eerie stillness. The mansion, once alive with the hum of luxury, now sat heavy with sorrow. Crime tape stretched across the front gate, the smell of gunpowder still lingering faintly in the air. Vanessa hadn't slept. She sat on the veranda, wrapped in a shawl, watching the police cars leave one by one. Her mind played back every moment of the last 2 days. The lies, the gunshots, Clara's final cry. When the last car pulled away, Detective Ao approached her. His voice was calm, respectful. Miss Vanessa, you're free to leave the city for now, but we might need you for further questioning. Mr. Marcus has been charged with attempted murder, obstruction of justice, and falsifying evidence. Vanessa nodded numbly. And Samuel? He's alive, Ao said. Stable, but unconscious. We'll hear his statement soon. What about his mother? The detective sighed. We've put out a warrant, but so far she's vanished. No bank activity, no phone records, nothing. It's like she disappeared into thin air. Vanessa's gaze drifted toward the horizon. She won't stay gone for long. Ao studied her face. You think she'll come back? Vanessa's lips tightened. Marcus was right about one thing. She doesn't like loose ends. He nodded thoughtfully, then handed her a small evidence bag. Inside was a gold bracelet, elegant, polished, engraved with, No. We found this in the back seat of Mr. Marcus's car, the detective said. We thought you should see it. Vanessa hesitated before taking it. It isn't mine. Ayo nodded. We know, but whoever it belongs to, she wanted it to look like it was yours. Vanessa stared at the bracelet, the reflection of morning light glinting off its surface. It wasn't just jewelry, it was a message, a taunt. After the detective left, the mansion fell silent again. Only the ticking of the grand clock broke the quiet. Vanessa walked slowly through the hallways, her footsteps echoing faintly. Every corner still carried ghosts. Clara's laughter, Marcus's lies, Samuel's rage. When she reached the study, she stopped. The curtains were still drawn. The smell of whiskey lingered. The desk, once neat, was scattered with documents the police hadn't yet collected. Among them, one envelope stood out, the same brown one Clara had given her. But this time, something new was tucked beneath it. A single photograph. Vanessa picked it up. It showed a young woman, strikingly beautiful, dark-skinned, wearing a bright yellow dress, smiling beside Marcus. Behind them, the words, Oladipo Foundation, Charity Gala 2016 could be seen. But it wasn't the smile that chilled her. It was the bracelet on the woman's wrist. The same gold one with M.O. engraved inside. Vanessa turned the photo over. On the back, in delicate handwriting, were the words, Blood always wins. Her breath caught. Oh my God! Just then her phone buzzed. A message. Unknown number. She opened it. I warned you, Vanessa. Marcus paid for his sins. Don't make the same mistake. Attached was a picture, grainy but unmistakable. A photo of Vanessa standing outside the mansion. Just seconds ago. She spun around, eyes scanning the street. The gate was empty. The driveway quiet. No one in sight. Her hands trembled as she whispered, She's watching me. Before she could react further, her phone rang. Private number. Heart pounding, she answered. Who is this? The voice on the other end was calm, smooth, and chillingly familiar. Older, but unmistakably female. You survived, the woman said. Good. You're stronger than I thought. Who are you? Vanessa demanded, though she already knew. A soft chuckle echoed through the speaker. You already know who I am, my dear. You have my bracelet, don't you? Vanessa's throat went dry. Marcus's mother. Call me Miriam, the voice said. Marcus was always impulsive. But you're clever. I like that. What do you want from me? Nothing yet, but I thought you should hear the truth before you let the world label me a monster. Vanessa gripped the phone tightly. You tried to kill your own son. No, Miriam said softly. I tried to save him. Marcus was laundering cartel money, and he was going to take me down with him. I had to stop him before he destroyed everything we built. I only meant to scare him, but he made it look like I wanted him dead. He always did love to twist the story. You expect me to believe that? Vanessa snapped. You don't have to, Miriam replied. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find proof. Check the offshore accounts. They're not in Samuel's name. They're in Marcus's. Under a company registered to you. Vanessa froze. That's impossible. Is it? Miriam's tone was almost amused. Marcus forged your signature, used your identity, funneled money through your old employer's charity. When the authorities find out, who do you think they'll blame? The call ended. Vanessa stood frozen, the phone trembling in her hand. She rushed to Marcus's desk, pulling open drawers, scanning through files. Her eyes widened. There it was, documents, bank statements, transactions under Vanessa Oladipo Foundation, Holdings Limited, a company she had never heard of. Hundreds of thousands of dollars transferred in her name. Her legs gave way. She sank into the chair, clutching the papers to her chest, realizing the depth of Marcus's manipulation. Even in his downfall, he'd made sure she'd take the fall if anything went wrong. Tears blurred her vision. You set me up, she whispered. Just then, another text arrived. You have 48 hours to clear your name. After that, I won't be able to protect you. M. Vanessa stared at the message, heart pounding, realization dawning that the nightmare wasn't over. Marcus was behind bars, Samuel in the hospital, Clara gone, but the real puppet master had just revealed herself. Miriam Oladipo wasn't finished. Vanessa stood, wiped her tears, and looked out the window toward the city skyline, her reflection fierce and determined. "No more running," she whispered. "This time I fight back." The camera of her phone light flickered briefly as if watching her, then went dark. The story wasn't over. It was just beginning. What do you think Vanessa should do next? Should she expose Miriam or disappear before the trap closes? Comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more gripping African folktales where betrayal meets justice and secrets never stay buried.